Good. Um, the game was going a little too fast for us in the first half. And we were giving up too many baskets, but at least we were coming down and scoring. We had some bad offensive possessions. Started the second half, which got their break going, which got Amude hot. And it went to 12 on those open threes. And our offense was a recipient as much as anything of not being good defensively, getting back. And they shot the ball extremely well. I always believe three-point shooting is contagious. They were averaging making 5 threes a game coming into the game in the league, and they make 15. And we only made 1 in the second half. They make 9 in the second half. We make 1 in the second half. It's a big part of the game. But also the points off turnovers. You know, we had very poor point guard play tonight, all the way across the board. And our decision-making struggled there. And just too many turnovers that turn into points. And unfortunately, that's the game for us there. So the threes and the points off turnovers, we got in the paint 56 times, which is a high for us on the year, but we only came away with 30 points. And so we weren't making the next pass the way we needed to. We weren't scoring, and we had some fluky things. Aaron's missed dunk, a couple of those things that you know would look to go in, but it didn't. And they were able to be in control because we weren't scoring as well, and they were scoring on hitting threes. So go ahead.
Okay, we're going to go into questions. First, we're going to go to Mark Weiser and then Jed May.
Hi, Tom. Carrier was saying that he thought the team lost energy in the second half. Did you sense that at all? And you mentioned the poor point guard play. What's the answer?
Yeah, I think you got to start with Carrier would be a product of that. I don't know if it's energy. It's the spirit when the offense is not going as well for you. It was going well for us in the first half, but when the offense is not going as well for you, it's depleting, right? And that happens. And then they're making open threes. So we're missing shots on one end. They're making open threes on the other end. It opens up the game a little bit in their favor. But the problem, and this is why it's a rare player. We don't have very many guys like this. And it really hurt tonight not having Jackson. And, you know, when Jackson only plays 15 minutes and he can defend the way that he can. And he wasn't as good in the second half. And I think he might have been thinking about his fouls. But the energy is going to go. You're a rare player, okay? And it's a rare team that can overcome on the defensive end and have a stop mentality and be locked into all the things that have to happen with the communication, with the switching, when you're not making shots on offense. And we don't have guys that we don't have that maturity. We do not have that maturity, and it's an issue. And a lot of people have it around the country, but we don't have that. And we've got to have a defensive mindset, whether it's in transition, getting our hands up, you know, whatever it is. And you just can't. Your offense is going to come back. So I think what happens is that's where the energy goes a little bit, because the shots aren't falling, and you start to lose spirit, and then it can fatigue you real quick.
Yeah, Tom, kind of following up on that, it's even in the first half, it seemed like when y'all were making shots, the defense was still struggling. I mean, was there anything in particular that was going on there?
Too. Yeah, I mean, we shot in the first half, what, 58%? They shot 59. Okay, that's a rare deal. So it was one of those games in the first half like that. But then we got away from making plays through the paint for others the way that it needed to be. And we did some uncharacteristic things. Noah's left-hand drive, you know, that's not something he does. That's not something we work on, you know, throwing it up there and letting the shot blocker pin it. I think that's what it was more than anything. So the defensive numbers get skewed because they're getting some runouts. We gave up 17 points off turnovers in the second half, and that's not good.
Okay, next we're going to go to Drew Beal and then Jack Leo.
Hey, Coach, we asked Aaron some questions earlier, and he seemed so incredibly upset and looked like he took this loss very hard personally. Haven't seen him anything close to like that all year. How important is it that he, as a leader on this team, as well as you as the coach, can find a way to sort of turn a loss like tonight into a motivator with such a big game coming up?
We will. I can't. I have to watch the film, right? I have to watch the film right now and go from there. If somebody has trouble turning the page to play on Saturday, then they won't play. That's pretty simple. Bottom line is you have to. And when you lose a game like this, it becomes a mirror test. Okay, you look in your own mirror, not the funny mirror, not the two-way mirror. You look in your own mirror and you say, okay, what could I have done better? And that's what players, leaders, whoever it is, freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors have to be able to do. Well, it starts with the coaches too. It starts with me. But the bottom line is I'm not going to, if we have guys that struggle to get up to play the #1 team in the country in our home building Saturday, then, really they can go sit with their families. I mean, I can't see that being an issue. Bottom line is we need to be ready to play, and we'll have 2 days to get ourselves ready to play.
Coach Stanley Amude, not too much of a three-point shooter normally, but he definitely was tonight. Is that something you saw coming?
I was shooting 29% in the league, 23% in the last 5 games. And he just got open and he got hot. And so I think, he's a veteran player. He scored a ton of points at his previous school. He was a big time recruit in the portal. They did a great job getting him, and he got hot. But again, we gave him some open shots, which escalated his confidence.
Okay, our last question is going to go to Jeff Schultz.
Tom, if I could sneak in 2 here. First of all, you obviously had to pull in a lot of players this year together. Is it discouraging or not surprising the fact that, 20 some games into the season that, we're still having halves like this or games like this, or should this have been expected?
I don't know if it's discouraging. I try not to get discouraged. It's disappointing that we can't get our communication right. And we've got to continue to work through that, because when we do a good job offensively and the ball is moving and we're getting really good looks, whether we miss or make, it's good for us. But it cannot transfer to the defensive end when it's not happening, and not have your physicality, your awareness, your hands, or most importantly, our talk and our communication on switches and things of that nature. Because it's very hard for us with this group without a rim protector to just come down and be a standard defense. So we have got to be able to switch. We've got to be able to do different things on people. And again, they got hot because of some bad offense at the start of the first half or second half. But I know I don't get discouraged. These guys work extremely hard. We just don't have guys that have been through this to understand that their leadership here is important as anything they could ever possibly have. And because they got a chance to impact it. And we don't do enough of that. So it's got to continue to be built upon and work forward and find ways to give them every opportunity to win a game that they possibly can.
And then big picture-esque, obviously the transfer portal has affected everybody in both basketball and football. I'm just curious, as a guy who's been coaching basketball for a long time, has the portal impacted the way you would prefer to coach and prefer to build a team? Has it hurt you at all?
That's a very good question. Yeah, that's a very good question. There's no, well, this is the standard. Okay, this is what we do every year. Let's go back to that, right? It's not like I go to February 1st from last year or a year before and say, okay, we're going to do that today in practice, because every team is different. And this one, because they haven't been together, chemistry on the floor and when we do it, we're very, very good. I mean, we're getting great looks. Every time we attacked, drove under the board tonight, made another pass, we're getting great looks. When we get away from what's working, that's what hurts us. And I think when you have too many guys that haven't come up in a system that way, but that's the way it's going to be. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. So you've got to do the best job you can in the portal of being able to find people that fit what you're trying to do, that have had some responsibility in their game, right? That have been responsible for their teammates. And I think when you bring in new people, it's harder to get that, because there's not the veterans. I mean, this would be a different story to me. PJ Horn doesn't get hurt because he knew what we were doing, and certainly it'd be a much different story. Jalen Ingram doesn't get hurt, but they did. So we don't have them. So I think it's just the way business is going to be done from here on out, that you're going to be putting together new guys every year. You just hope that you have some veterans along the way to show those new guys what it is. And we just don't have that. So we've got to kind of learn it as a whole here.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.